Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit is a malware vertical chain lift roller coaster located at Universal Studios Orlando in Orlando, Florida. Today, I will be reviewing this coaster. So Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit lately has been getting a lot of praise from many enthusiasts for its quote-unquote ejector airtime hills or standing airtime hills and insane forces. However, this ride did not do it for me when I rode it in 2015. I don't enjoy Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit at all. This ride was rough, boring, and forceless. There is one, or actually two, pretty good elements on this ride, and that is that pretty good helix. That helix is actually really good, honestly. It pulls a lot of forces. That's the only forceful moment of the ride. Other than that, it's forceless. But that helix is actually pretty good as you get whipped in the back. I sat in the back row on this ride, but I didn't really get any airtime like people say it does in the back row. I also like the non-inverting loop on this ride. It's a different element I've experienced. I've never experienced an element like that before. So it was pretty cool. However, the rest of this ride, honestly, was just bad. It's an awful layout. There's really only two good moments. Other than that, the ride is just so boring. There's one forceful moment. As I said, that's the helix. Other than that, this ride is extremely forceless. No airtime, no positive Gs. This ride is just boring. There's so many brake runs that it just slows the ride down on every moment. And that's not good because it just crawls through the layout, that means. And I like a ride with really good pacing. Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit does not have that. This ride just crawls through every element on the ride. I wish this ride had a better layout, like if they gave it some more airtime hills, or maybe even some inversions. This ride would be a lot better for me. But overall, I just do not enjoy this coaster. I prefer Revenge of the Mummy by a lot. In fact, Revenge of the Mummy destroys Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, in my opinion. Because Revenge of the Mummy actually has some good forces and is pretty intense. While Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit is really forceless other than the helix, as I said. Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit is just a pretty boring ride. Anyways, now let's take a ride on Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. So first you climb up this vertical chain lift, which is actually pretty cool. Then you go down this drop, which gives no airtime, from what I remember. And then you go through this non-inverting loop. This is a really cool element, and I really like it. Then this is where the ride really dies down. You hit this mid-course brake run, and it just starts to crawl through the layout. This helix is really intense. This is the only intense part of the ride, because it's actually forceful, unlike the rest of the ride. This element is pretty forceful. Now, after this element, this is when the ride starts to suck. The rest of the ride is extremely forceless. You hit another brake run, and you're going to hit another brake run later on in the ride. And then you just meander around through these stupid turns right here. What is that type of turn? And then this turn really doesn't do anything either because it crawls through it. If it went faster through it, that would pull some really good Gs, but it doesn't. Okay, now you hit another brake run and it just slows down. And this element is just plain out stupid right here. And so is this, because this is a forceless element. And then right here, you hit another brake run. Wow, just a brake run machine. Then you go through another turn and the brake run. So overall, I'm not the biggest fan of Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. And I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Why am I giving it a 5 out of 10? Well, because there are some elements I do like on this ride, such as the non-inverting loop. That's a really cool element. I also really like the helix because that's actually a pretty intense moment. And I forgot to mention, but I do like how you get to choose your own music on this ride. That's a pretty cool thing for this ride. So that's why this ride's score does get boosted up a little bit. But if it didn't have like the music or the helix, this ride would probably only get a 3. So yeah, that is my review on Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit at Universal Studios Orlando. I also forgot to mention I haven't ridden this since 2015. So who knows, maybe after I ride it again, I'll like it a little bit more. But yeah, that's my review on Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit at Universal Studios Orlando. Make sure to like this video, also subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time. Keep coasting on my coaster demons. Peace out.